On part of his 500-hectare farm, Alexandra Chubuk shows us the fields of winter wheat that are already sprouting. But he also shows us the adjacent fields where he's decided not to plant this year. And this is why. His warehouses are still filled with 800 tons of grain from last year's harvest that he can't sell without making a loss.
I've reduced my winter wheat by about 30%, but I know there are farms that I've reduced by more than half, and I've heard of some that have decided not to plant at all.
Working on very low margins, farmers were hit hard by the steep rise in export costs caused by the war, made worse this last summer when Russia scrapped an agreement to allow safe passage of some grain ships from Ukraine's southern ports. Russia pulled out of the Black Sea grain deal, accusing the Ukrainians of using the corridor to attack its navy ships. Kyiv has accused Moscow in turn of using hunger as a weapon in this conflict. Many farms have been switching production to make a profit, like sugar beet or oil-producing crops that are not as bulky to export.
For
the second year in a row, we're seeing an increase of oil crops compared to grain that have a higher price and take up less space, so they aren't as badly affected by the significant transport costs.
For Alexandra Chubuk, his more immediate concern is whether to harvest other crops like corn for bread making, if he could export it freely. If not, then whether to let it rot where it stands. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Zakhurivka Village, Ukraine.